Call this meeting to order. Ms. Whitby, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ross?
Here.
White?
Here.
Taylor?
Here.
Robinson?
Here.
Baxter?
Here.
Harris?
Here.
Ginn? Has Councilmember Ginn joined? Okay. And
Here.
Height?
Got me now?
Okay. The quorum is present.
Okay. Councilmember White is going to lead us in prayer. Councilmember White, can you hear us?
Councilmember White, can you lead the prayer?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I didn't say present.
Thank you, God, for the privilege once again to gather for decision-making in this city. Thank you for blessing us in the midst of so many concerns and issues. God, I ask, as Solomon asked in 1 Kings 3:9, to give me an understanding heart so that I can govern your people well and know the difference between right and wrong. I further ask you to bless all of our city employees and the citizens with safety and good health. Thank you for how you love us. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 All right, let's see. We've got communications. We've got 1 through 8. Does anybody want to pull any of these communications?
We'll need to read number 8.
Number 8? Does anybody else have any communications they want pulled?
Move to, no, but move to accept 1 through 7. Accept and file.
Okay, we got communications 1 through 7.
Okay. On the motion to accept and file, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn has not joined yet. And Height?
Yes.
Number 8. This is a letter dated July 13, 2020, to Ms. Diane Whitby and honorable members of the North Little Rock City Council. Dear Ms. Whitby and council members, this is to advise that I am unable to attend the City Council meeting for this evening, July 13, 2020. Councilmember Debbie Ross will be presiding over the meeting in my absence. Sincerely, Joe A. Smith, Mayor.
Move to accept and file.
Second.
Okay. Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Okay, we don't have any, we have no presentations, and we have no scheduled public hearings.
We need to do the minutes.
The minutes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to accept and file the minutes?
Motion made.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, on the motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? Councilmember Ginn?
Yes.
You'll need to sit on that side. I'm sorry, Robinson was yes. Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
And Ginn? This is on the minutes. And Height?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Citizens' public comment on numbered legislations. Ms. Whitby, do you have the list? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have Joe Reynolds on R 2094. Joe, did you want to speak or come up to the podium?
Yes, I'm Joe Reynolds, and I would like to speak in favor of this donation that Bill Yates is making. There's a military monument there, and I feel like that it would most definitely be an asset to the city instead of it being on a private situation. And 3 people started this military monument a long time ago. Bill Yates, of course, had the property. Jim Dixon with Razorback Signs did a lot of work. And myself, Joe Reynolds, worked on it. So three of us kind of put it together. Bill did a lot more work than I did, but like I say, I respectfully support this and would ask that you adopt it. And I think it's an asset to the city. If you haven't saw it on the killing of military and MacArthur, you might want to stop one day and just take a look. People have bought bricks and had them engraved with the name and the family on it and whatever, and you can still do that, I believe, but it's most definitely would be an asset to the city, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. John Owens with the Chamber of Commerce. This is on O-2063. Told John he could talk whenever he wanted, but I think this is a good time to speak.
Hey, everybody, it's good to see y'all again. Even if it's under these circumstances. About a week ago, there was a groundswell among a number of our business members that started to reach out to me and express concern over the lack of a mask ordinance in the city of North Little Rock. Had one business member in particular whose wife has a compromised immune system, and he was telling me that they were afraid to go out and have dinner and do other things because so many people weren't following the CDC guidelines, and asked if there was any way the chamber could do something, take a stand. So I reached out to the mayor and I said, you know, what are the city's plans? And he said, well, the city's going to take under consideration an ordinance, and why don't you have the chamber write a resolution in support of what we're doing? So we did last Monday. And we also agreed to help if the mask ordinance was passed, distribute information to the North Little Rock businesses so that they're aware that there has been an ordinance passed. And we voted on this last Wednesday. We had 50 members cast votes. It was my large board. And the vote was 47-3 to pass the ordinance, the resolution, to support you in the ordinance. So I want to read the resolution to you so you know what we passed. Now may it be known that on Wednesday, July the 8th, 2020, the North Little Rock Board of Directors, Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and Executive Committee do hereby support Mayor Joe Smith and the North Little Rock City Council's efforts to create and adopt a city ordinance requiring that a face mask must be worn in public places and private businesses and anywhere that social distancing guidelines cannot be followed while in the city limits of North Little Rock. And once the ordinance is passed, the North Little Rock Chamber of Commerce will assist the city of North Little Rock in disseminating information to the business communities about the ordinance. Listen, nobody hates wearing a mask more than I do. But if it helps us keep our businesses going, if it opens up the art walk, if it makes it where I can go see the Razorbacks play, I'm all for it. So is the chamber. We stand behind you. We printed up some signs, or we actually didn't print them up. We created them. We did the graphic work on them so that we could email them out to businesses, and they can use them if they want to. It'll be a tool that they can use to let their customers know that their place of business requires a mask. So we would do that electronically, and we would also have printed versions that they could pick up at the chamber here at City Hall if they wanted to use them. So anyway, thank you for your leadership on this issue.
Thank you, John. How many members do you have in the North Rock Chamber of Commerce currently?
I've got about 800 members in the city of
So
North
you've got
Little Rock.
800 businesses then that you're
Got
representing?
1,500, but about 800 of them are in North Little Rock.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that. We also have, and I hope I pronounced her first name right, Alyssa Dixon. She is a candidate, I believe, for Senate District 34, the state.
Very unusual times. Thank you for letting me be here to talk to you tonight. Thank you for the council members. I appreciate all your hard work and the service that you do for our community and making North Little Rock a great place to live. Today happens to be my birthday, and I think it was a special treat that I was able to speak in front of people actual live people, because doing COVID and running a campaign is very unusual and, to say the least, challenging. My name is Alyssa Blaze Dixon, and I'm running for State Senate District 34, which includes parts of North Little Rock, Sherwood, Maumelle, and Jacksonville. I have lived in this district for 33 years. I've raised my children here. 2 out of 6 of my children still live here, and 6 out of 8 of my grandchildren live here. I have 3 grandchildren that attend Lakewood Elementary School, which I think is an awesome public school. I'm running for this seat to be an independent voice for all Arkansans. I will work hard and I will always fight for what is right, for the greater good, and then I will not be swayed by any special interest groups or be a rubber stamp for a political party. I understand, as you understand, that good policy matters, and how and what we spend our limited resources makes a difference in our communities. I want to work with city councils and municipalities to address your needs. People are suffering right now, and the pandemic is affecting our economy, our education, and our health system. I know this morning it hit really personally because my sister called me from Louisiana and told me today that my nephew tested positive for COVID, and so did his son that's 2 years old. I will be empathetic to small businesses and working families because I know they are struggling right now, and so many people have lost their jobs and their incomes. As an educator, I want to use my firsthand experience and 35 years of teaching experience to tackle the issues that face students, working parents, and teachers. Students, parents, and teachers and support staff need to know that we can open our schools safely, and if we cannot, that we have quality alternatives. And last but not least, healthcare is always an issue, but even more so during this pandemic. You cannot work if you are sick, and some people have lost their insurance or will lose their insurance because they are out of work. I think it is critical that all Arkansans have accessible, quality, affordable health care. I'm asking you to vote for me on November the 3rd, and if elected, I will work hard and be an independent voice for all Arkansans. Thank you for listening, and it has been an honor and a pleasure to address this distinguished group of leaders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're ready to go into unfinished business.
Okay, O-2058, Mayor Smith and all council members.
Please call it.
I should have been turned over there, and I wasn't. An ordinance to repeal portions of the old zoning ordinance, ordinance number 7697, and all amendments thereto, adopting a new zoning ordinance. Second reading.
Okay, Mayor didn't really leave any suggestions whether to go ahead and hold this or call this. Without any objection, I would like to go ahead and call it, if no other council members have any objection.
This was the second reading, so right now it either needs a motion to suspend and place it on its third reading, or a motion to suspend all readings.
Can I get a motion to suspend the
Suspend all
reading?
readings.
Can you get a second?
Suspend the reading.
Second.
Okay, we got a second
And that was the motion to suspend all readings.
from Mr. Height, yes.
Okay. On the motion, Ross?
Yes?
White? White?
She's frozen. Her frame is frozen.
Okay. Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter? Baxter? Baxter?
Yes.
Okay. Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Can I get a motion to adopt?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Now you need to reconvene the public hearing from the last meeting.
Okay. We'll convene a public hearing here. If anyone has anything to say on this O-2058, this is the new zoning ordinance. All right, seeing none, close the public hearing.
Okay, on the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Our frame is frozen.
White? Taylor,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Baxter,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Ginn,
Yes.
and Height.
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross,
Yes?
White, Taylor,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Baxter,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Ginn,
Yes.
and Height.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it did pass. The consent agenda, does anyone have anything on the consent agenda that they would like to pull?
Councilmember Height has
Height
his
does.
hand up.
Councilmember Height?
It's not necessarily I want to pull R 2093. I'd like to add those with your permission here. Councilman Taylor and Councilwoman Robinson as co-sponsors. They should have been above me on this. This is in their ward, but without exception, I'd like to add Taylor and Robinson as co-sponsors
All right.
with their permission too.
And Councilmember Baxter? Councilmember Baxter?
Baxter,
He's having
Okay.
technical difficulties too. I don't know if he was wanting to add to or, so
Can
we're
he-
we're
can
adding
he
Taylor
leave
and
a-
Robinson.
can he leave a message in chat? If he wanted to say something? Okay. Okay.
Okay, I don't know if he was wanting to be added or not, but we can come back and add him later if we need
Okay.
to. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, on the consent agenda, R 2087 through R 2093, can I get a voice vote? Yes, or everybody for? Get a yes?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Everyone is for all of the consent agenda.
Okay.
All right, moving on to new business.
R 2094, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to accept a donation of certain real property located at 5501 MacArthur Drive in the city of North Little Rock.
Can I get a motion?
Move for adoption.
A second?
Second.
Second. This is the property that Mr. Reynolds was talking about at the corner of MacArthur and Military Drive that has the statue there. Can you call the roll, please?
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter? Baxter?
Having technical difficulties.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes?
And Height?
Yes.
R 2095, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a contract with Western Millwright Services Incorporated to remodel the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge, appropriating funds for flood-related expenses from the FEMA flood account.
Can I get a motion?
Motion to accept.
So move.
A second? A second for Mr. Harris.
Second.
So moved.
Okay.
Is there any discussion?
No.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
White? White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Taylor, did I hear you say yes?
Yes, you heard
Thank
me say
you.
yes.
Thank you. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter? Is gone.
Lost
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 2096, Councilmember Robinson.
Please call it.
A resolution requiring community gardens to be free from city liens prior to the execution of a community garden license agreement.
Can I get a motion? A second?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter? Harris,
Yes.
Gann,
Yes.
and Height.
Yes.
Councilmember
Councilmember-
Robinson Councilmember Robinson?
I just want to make a comment. That when people come into an agreement with us for a community garden, that Fit to Live check to make sure that there aren't any weeds. And not only that, in the previous contract, I saw where if people did not follow through on the agreement, that the city has a right to reclaim that money from the person or the business. So I just want to make sure that we tighten things up and that we follow the agreement.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, R 2097, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution approving and certifying amounts of liens to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real properties in the city of North Little Rock as a result of grass cutting expenses and abatement of other nuisances.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Convene a public hearing, please.
All right, we're going to convene a public hearing. Is anyone here for any of the tax collection on the real properties resulting from grass cutting, expenses and abatements, or other nuisances? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing.
Okay, on the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Thank you. Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Ordinances O 2063, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
An ordinance regarding the use of masks in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
Okay. We've got it.
Okay, on the motion, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
And I'm sure that there's plenty of people that want to speak on it. Councilmember Ginn, I know that you,
Well, I have a few things. My picture is not up here. Does that matter?
that's,
Okay.
it's all right.
When the ordinance states to wear face coverings when they're exposed to non-household members and distancing 6 feet or more that cannot be assured, is there any exception to things like exercising? I went to the WHO, the World Health Organization, and they do not recommend masks while exercising because it reduces the ability to breathe, and the sweating produces the growth of microorganisms that are not good for you. So can we eliminate when you're exercising, or maybe just to use disposable masks? You know.
I'll let our city attorney, but I do know that we are following the Arkansas Department of Health
Right.
guidelines.
And that's what I was going to say, when you get into the meat of the ordinance and the sections of it, it requires face coverings according to ADH guidance. And as far as gyms and exercising, the Arkansas Department of Health specifically references that individuals may not be able to wear a mask while exercising, and so that's already covered. Everything that that we do goes back to the Arkansas Department of Health guidelines, and they've already covered that.
That's good. I also want to talk about 2 other things. One is that, is it going to be required when it's 100-degree temperature outside? Because again, the sweating is going to cause a problem. And like as if I picked up my next door neighbor's little girl and was going to take her out to eat with us while I'm in the car, am I going to have to wear a mask because she's not a household person?
Those are tough questions, but as far as the outdoors, you know, as long as you can maintain 6 feet, then it is not a requirement. As far as your neighbor, it may technically fit within the guidelines of the Arkansas Department of Health, but the enforcement mechanism for this, we're limited by what the governor has allowed us to do. And the only enforcement mechanism that the city has is if we are requested to assist a business that is mandating masks and has a person that comes to that business that will not comply with the business's directive that all customers must wear masks, then law enforcement can come and assist. So while it may technically fall within that less than 6 feet, because there's not an enforcement mechanism with them, I think you'd be fine getting her to the restaurant.
Good. Okay, I want to make sure that our ending date is 60 days. Is that correct?
I'm going to answer that one as well.
So that we will revote, so that it just doesn't keep going on forever. I want to make sure that somewhere around the middle of September, we're going to re-look at this.
There is not an expiration in this. Now, it is going to be dependent upon the state of emergency declared by the governor and the continuation of the Department of Health guidelines. And so when those end, as far as the mask recommendations and requirements, then the ordinance would end just by operation of those not being in place anymore.
I also checked with Municipal League, and they said that Dr. Thompson said that North Little Rock has 334 cases right now, well, as of the 3rd of July. So I thought that was really interesting to know, and that's all.
Okay. I know that we had others that wanted to speak.
And I have three
Okay.
emails.
Let's go ahead and let's let Charlie, I know Charlie has something to say. We can't hear you.
Just a clarification, previously when Mr. Owens from the Chamber of Commerce made a comment, you referenced restaurants. And Amy, I think you've already answered this question somewhat for gyms, but gyms and restaurants are regulated by the State Department of Health more so than this ordinance does. This ordinance really applies to businesses more than it does restaurants. Is that correct?
Now, it's also, Mr. Hike, going to apply to restaurants in that, but in the sense that while they are regulated by the Department of Health, and we have seen the Department of Health actually close some bars, where our ordinance would come into effect would be if the restaurant management was having a problem with somebody refusing to comply, then our law enforcement could go and assist the business.
But still, the restaurants are more so having to follow the health guidelines more so than this. Yeah, they're kind of patrolling that a little bit more stringent than what this ordinance would do.
Right.
Okay. Did anyone else have any more questions? Councilmember White?
I just wanted to add that the Hay Center opening regulations that were set up for today's opening did include that when you exercise, you took your mask off for that period of exercising, which was the Department of Health guidelines, and then you put the mask back on after you were done exercising. I just wanted to add that.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to add a few things here because.
Yes.
What? Councilmember Taylor?
So I guess I'm crystal clear, and maybe somebody else is confused. So can I get the meat of the ordinance? I read the ordinance, but so if I'm walking out, I'm looking outside my office. There's not a soul outside. Do I have to have a mask on?
No.
Okay. So when would I have to have a mask on if I was standing outside my office? If somebody came within 6 feet of me?
I can't understand. Hear him. I didn't hear you.
Standing.
Said if he's standing outside his office and someone comes within 6 feet of him, would he have to have a mask on then?
Is this a trick question, Councilmember Taylor?
No, I just know. I want.
Right.
I mean, I got one in my pocket, and I got one like in my back pocket, and I keep one in my briefcase and one in my truck. So, and I just want to know when I have to don my mask and when I don't have to don my mask.
As far as outside of your office, if someone came within 6 feet of you, I would say if you were going to have a sustained conversation with them, it would be advisable to wear a mask, not only because of the ordinance, but because of public health reasons. If you are just going to be walking along, I think that that you'd be in compliance if you didn't get your mask on for while you walked by that person.
Okay, so, well, I guess the real question is, when do you have to wear a mask and when do you not have to wear a mask?
Can I answer that one?
Go
I
ahead.
underlined that. Okay, this is the meat of it too. It says that Arkansas Department of Health guidance on masks, they change frequently, and it says, this is where it is. All indoor environments when exposed to non-household members and distancing of 6 feet cannot be assured. That answer it? That's in the legislation.
Okay.
You know, it says outdoor 6 feet. Okay. Okay, now, do you have any more questions? Councilman Taylor? Okay, this is one thing that I just wanted to bring about. That the city, while this does give the businesses the opportunity to call the police if someone is failing to abide by their regulations that they have posted on the door, the business owner or the manager can call. Now, I know we've got Chief Ralston here, and I've spoke with him. This is not for residents to call and say someone's in Kroger or someone's, in Walmart or whatever, and they don't have a mask on. The police will not be taking calls from the residents complaining. The thing that you need to think about too is when you go to these stores, and if you see this, you need to contact the store manager or contact the owner. The city, that is their place of business, and it is their regulation they have posted on the door. There's no penalties if they don't abide by these. There's nothing in here that says that we can do anything as far as the city. And the reason of that is that the government has not given us the opportunity. We can't charge fines. We can't, but we can offer assistance to the businesses that want it. And I've been really surprised by the number of business owners that have contacted me that said, will you please pass this so that it will help us with our enforcement, because they have no meat, other than, me saying this, but now if it's a city ordinance, they can refer to the city ordinance that the city is asking us to abide by this. It's going to change. The Arkansas Department of Health, their guidelines are going to change. They're going to, they may change daily, they may change weekly, as we've seen this pandemic through the different stages. So that's why it goes by the Arkansas Department of Health guidelines. We're not in the medical field, and I had one email saying you are not scientists, and no, we're not. But we do have to take our guidance from somewhere, and we are taking it from the Department of Health, which the governor takes his from the Department of Health, and that's what we are endorsing, and we're begging everyone, please wear your mask. I know they're miserable. I hate them. My glasses fog up. I can't breathe half the time, but if I can't, I leave that store. If I can't wear my mask, I have to breathe the store. I've had several friends. They're in their 70s, the older. They have not left their house in 4 months because they don't feel comfortable going in the store without people wearing masks. Everybody says, well, just tell them to stay home. But this is more than just physical health, too. I mean, this is affecting a lot of people's mental health. And so we have to look at this. And I stopped counting my 4 emails that people are pro-mask at 60. I just gave up counting. I said, I'm not even going to count anymore. And I had 3 against. So to me, whether we agree with it or not, we represent our residents, our constituents, and that's how I'm going to vote. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mayor, we got 62 for and 3 again, total of 65, okay.
There you go. Councilmember Ginn.
There was another thing I wanted to talk about. If there are children under 2 years old, they don't have to wear a mask.
Correct. Under 2, it's not recommended at all.
If you have asthma, you have trouble breathing, you don't have to wear a mask. People who can't remove the mask without help, or they're deaf or hard of hearing, and they actually need to read somebody's lips, they can do that. Working where straps can get caught in machinery, or if it's irritating your skin, the kind of cloth you're putting on your face, or it makes you lightheaded. Okay, the question that I'm going to ask our police chief is, do you need some sort of written excuse to be excused, like from your doctor or something to be excused? If someone calls, some manager calls, do you have to have some piece of paper saying that you've been excused from wearing a mask?
Chief Ralston, you want to come up to the microphone? And yes, he did have his mask on until he came to the...
So the answer to your question is no. We're not going to require that. If a person explains to us the reasons why that they cannot wear the mask, then that's what we will go with.
Very good. Thank you.
And like I said, this is up to the business owners to call or the manager to call. It's someone in the store sees it, the police will not respond. So please, please do not call them and overburden the police line. Councilmember Robinson.
I'm going to make a final comment about masks. If a person enters into a business and it says that they have to have a mask and they have a medical condition or something where they cannot wear a mask, leave the business.
There you go. And I know I have seen, what was that? All right. And I have seen some businesses where they'll have masks. If you don't have a mask, they'll have a mask for them. They'll have a mask for $1, a mask for 50 cents. So there's really no reason to not have a mask, other than you're under 2, your medical condition. This is like with everything. There's always exceptions, and there always will be exceptions. And the police are not out here trying to, get you in trouble for not wearing your mask because you have asthma. Believe me, this is just something that it's highly encouraging people to wear our masks so that we can get people back out shopping in our stores. Councilmember Robinson.
And we don't expect people to walk around with a doctor's statement in their pocket saying they can't wear a mask.
That's correct. That's correct.
Do you want these read now?
Yes. Clerk Whitby I think she has 3 emails that people had emailed, yes. And it was stated that she would read them.
Yes, this is according to our procedure during the pandemic. The first one is from Kent Walker. The following is for the mask ordinance support. Good evening, members. Thank you for your continued service to our community during the very trying time we find ourselves. I wish to express support and hope you will pass O-2063 or the mask ordinance. UAMS has said masks are like pouring cold water on the virus. Until such a time as the governor mandates masks statewide, the passage of city ordinances are the best we can accomplish. Please let's do our small part and join Conway, Little Rock, Fayetteville, and Rogers in passing a mask ordinance. Please vote in the affirmative. Let's do our part to pour some cold water while a vaccine is developed and distributed. As ICU and hospital resources in our area are reaching full capacities, the very least we can do to address is pass a basic preventive measure. Thank you, and again, and truly, Kent Walker. The next one is from Jason Brown. To whom it may concern, I am asking that the North Little Rock City Council pass a mandated mask ordinance for all indoor public places. Medical professionals and health organizations in the U.S. and beyond have released overwhelming science that proves face coverings prevent the spread of COVID-19. The state of Arkansas has seen record numbers of cases over the past few weeks, and something must be done to slow the spread of the virus. The only way to continue allowing businesses to operate and keep citizens safe is to mandate masks in these spaces. With a mask ordinance in place, business owners will have the guidance needed to enforce safe practices for its employees and customers under the support of our city government. Thank you for considering this important matter. I appreciate each of you. Jason Brown, a North Little Rock resident. And the last one is from Matt, and I hope I say the last name right, Garbacz, G-A-R-B-A-C-Z. City Council members, I have a few questions regarding the new mask ordinance. Do any of you have a medical background? Who is your medical expert? What was the scientific information that you used to justify a mandatory mask ordinance? What scientific information will be needed to end the mandatory mask ordinance? How will you address the inevitable loss of tax revenue due to this ordinance? Will you call for a special election to raise taxes due to the loss of revenue? How will you be helping businesses affected by this ordinance? I appreciate your time and dedication to the city of North Little Rock. Please vote against this ordinance. Ward 4, Matt Garbucks. And those are the three I'd received.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any more comments before we call this? Okay, I don't see that. There's one other thing that Amy, that as far as when this would go into effect, if this is passed tonight, can you explain? Because we do have an emergency on this, and I don't want people to think that tomorrow it will go into effect immediately.
It won't go into effect tomorrow, even though the ordinance, if the ordinance passes and the emergency clause passes, it does say it will go into effect immediately. However, under state law, ordinances have to be published, and I'm not sure what days, Ms. Whitby, what day they get published, but before they can be enforced, they have to be published
We publish in the
first.
Leader, which is on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and if we get it to them tomorrow, it would be published Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday. So would that mean that it would go into effect Wednesday?
It would go in effect as soon as it's published, so it'd go
Okay.
into effect on Wednesday.
That would give everybody time to, anyone that wants to put up a sign. and-
Unless you want us to wait and have it, and it goes later in the week, it would be Saturday.
Doesn't matter to me.
I think Wednesday. The people that I've spoken with, that I think they're ready for it. They're ready for it. Okay, on the vote.
Well, so now we need a motion to adopt.
Oh, can I get a motion to adopt?
So moved, motion.
Can I get a second? And second from Councilman.
Okay, on the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? Robinson? Okay, Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
I did Robinson. Have we got Robinson back? I think she may be having some technical difficulties.
I think she's frozen.
She's frozen too.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Next item, O-2064, Mayor Smith.
Wait just a second. John Owens, as far as the Chamber of Commerce, I mean, if anyone wants to, since this did pass and it will go in effect Wednesday, if anyone wants to get a copy of that sign, or you can email it to them to contact the Chamber of Commerce, correct? And you.
I would also suggest we put it on the city's website as well.
Okay. Can make a note of that? Right. If we could put that up on there.
If Mr. Owens could send that to us, then we'll make sure it gets posted with the ordinance, and then we'll make sure you get a copy of the ordinance as well.
And it's downloadable. They can. Sir? Correct.
We'll have that tomorrow.
Yeah, I won't number it until tomorrow.
So be looking for that. Any businesses that do want a copy of the sign, it does have the city logo on it, and it will have the ordinance on there stating the ordinance.
Next item, O-2064, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
An ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements and authorizing payment to Diamond Construction Company for the emergency repair of a stormwater pipe at Burkestone Drive, first reading.
Vote to suspend the readings.
Second.
On the motion to suspend the readings, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Yes.
Robinson? Robinson?
Frozen.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn? And Height?
Yes.
Need a motion to adopt?
Can I get
Motion to adopt.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? She keeps moving just a little bit. Baxter?
Yes.
Oh, I heard her. Okay.
Yes.
Baxter? Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
O 2065, council members Ross and White.
Please call it.
An ordinance accepting the dedication of Lakewood Park Drive in the city of North Little Rock, first reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Second.
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? Robinson?
I,
Baxter?
yes.
Baxter? Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Wait, we have some questions.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We have a question here. Councilmember Taylor?
So yeah, my question is, so what? I'm trying to figure out why are we what is it about this street that make us want to adopt the street or accept the adoption of the street or dedication of the street?
I can answer a part of that, and we'll let the city attorney sometimes we request a bond when we accept the streets, and we'll, a warranty bond in case anything happens to it. And this agreement is that they will maintain the maintenance of this street for 5 years. The city will do no maintenance on it for 5 years, and then the city will they'll take over the maintenance after 5 years on this street. And City Attorney, do you have anything else? I know that we've accepted.
And we have done that in the past when we were doing research to draft this ordinance on, there have been other occasions where residents have had private roads that they've wanted to dedicate to the city, and the city has accepted them. On some occasions, we have had a maintenance bond. On some of the existing streets, the owners have agreed to maintain the streets for a certain period of time before we took them over in lieu of having the maintenance bond.
So I guess I'm just trying to figure how this street would be different than the streets that we attempted to get adopted into the street a couple of years ago down at Deer Meadows. How is this any different than that one that was just flat turned down by the city council?
I can't.
I'm not familiar with that, Mr. Taylor, so
Chris Wilburn, are you familiar with that, what he's talking about? Could you hear what he was talking about? Chris Wilburn's here. Let's see if he can answer that.
Basically, the road that we're, looking at accepting tonight met all city standards, and the ones in Deer Meadows were not constructed to city standards. Therefore, I think way back when, a while back, it just wasn't ever accepted into the city when that area was annexed. And Maurice, Alderman Taylor may know more about the timing of that, but there's several streets along Colonel Maynard that were not accepted by the city when that area was annexed.
Did you hear that, Mario, that they were not built to city standards?
Well, absolutely, I heard it. But the reason why they weren't built to city standards because the city allowed them to be built substandard. Because
they weren't part of the city.
If they weren't part of the city, but they were part of the city's territorial jurisdiction, which says that we had the authority to make them build them by virtue of a certain standard, meaning that they had to build them a certain way because we knew we were going to be annexing those areas into the city. So we allowed them to be built substandard then we annex the properties and annex all of this area, but then we don't take the streets.
I am not familiar
No.
with it. I have no idea.
It's quite a bit before my time. A lot of that was done through planning.
Okay.
And I don't know if Sean knows anything.
Sean, do you know anything about this? About, that was before Sean's times too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have. Let's go back and talk about that, though. We can go back and look at those and see if there's, what it would take to get them up to city standards.
Okay.
Maurice, can you get with, or Linda, can you get with Sean and Chris to see what it would take to get them up to city standards? Because, I mean, this was before.
Absolutely. I'll be calling them 30 seconds after with this meeting.
Okay,
Thanks.
okay. Are we ready for the vote? Where were we?
I had one yes.
What-
White? We're back to roll call. White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? Robinson?
I hear you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn? And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Concludes new business.
Does anyone on the council have anything to say? Councilmember Robinson?
Well, let me take my notes out here. One of my constituents wanted me to compliment Robert Birch on the video deal that he's been doing with the mayor and the people talking about my business, my city. That has gotten over 10,000 plus views. And the thing that my constituents say, I want to use her word. She says that with so much negativity, it is refreshing to see people being positive about the city of North Little Rock. She stated North Little Rock by far is not perfect. However, it's really good to see people showcasing and saying positive things about the city that they say they love. That's it.
I agree with your constituent 100%. That was Robert and everyone that was involved in that. Anyone else have anything? Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'm waiting on a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Second.
On the motion to adjourn, Ross?
Yes?
White?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.